want absolutely no recoil in Apex Legends like this? If so, then you found the absolutely perfect video for you, as we're going to be going over the best controller settings for Apex Legends. Don't forget, we're giving away 1,000 Apex coins every single Sunday to a random subscriber. All you have to do is like and comment on this video in order to be entered. With all that being said, let's jump into it. And so to start out, we're going to jump right into that customized button layout. So you may be on default, bumper jumper, button puncher, whatever. I don't care. You're going to switch it down to custom. And with custom, you're going to keep it as it is on some parts, but we're going to change up a couple of these, and I'll tell you why this makes sense for that. So to start, you're going to start off with jump on A, crouch on B, whatever it is. You might be on PlayStation, it might be circle, whatever it is, it's going to go over to that platform as well. The next one is going to be the first one you're going to change. So you're going to change your interact, pickup, and reload from the X button to the right bumper. So I can move around freely and pick up as many items as I want without having to take my fingers off of the joysticks. When I have it normally set to that X button, I can't freely look around while I'm picking up items. So more than likely, whenever you're on controller and you're trying to loot like that, you're probably walking up to stuff and you're going to sit here and you're going to kind of go back and forth instead while you're picking up items. Whereas now I can just point it at the item that I want. Boom, 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 boom. Get whatever I want and be able to use it freely like that. Then we're going to have these same settings as normal as the default settings for cycle weapon and holster, aim down sight, attack, of course, and your tactical ability is going to remain on the left bumper. And since we are switching interact, pickup, reload to the right bumper in order to pick up everything faster and move around faster while looting, now ping is going to be on your X button. You're not really going to usually probably ping all that much, especially if you're using your mic and everything like that. So it's okay that you have to take your finger off and be able to ping this way. I find it easier to have equip grenade on the left D-pad button, as it's not as far away from my left joystick as the right D-pad button is. I'm not really toggling my fire mode as much as I'm using grenades, so this just makes more sense in my head to be able to have it on a closer button so that I remain close to my joystick. Following that in our settings, everything's pretty much going to be pretty standard for probably some other videos that you've seen before if you've watched any. But we're going to have the default stick layout. Interact reload button is going to be tap to use and reload. Crouch button is going to remain on toggle. That way we can have that nice slides and everything like that whenever we're moving around. Aim button, of course, is going to be on hold. Survival slot button is going to be on. And our triggered dead zones are going to be on none. You do not want any kind of resistance on your triggers. As soon as I pull my trigger down, I want to be shooting. I don't want there to be any kind of delay or anything like that. So make sure to have those triggered dead zones on none. And following that, menu cursor speed is kind of going to be up to you on what you can handle. You, of course, want your menu cursor speed to be as fast as possible, but not too fast where you're overshooting items that you're trying to pick up. Instead, you want to both balance your speed and efficiency while looting out of boxes. So menu cursor speed is going to be your preference. I prefer to have it just probably 60% of the way up. And then as you see here, our look sensitivity and everything like that is actually going to be grayed out. And that is because we're going to have ALC, or the advanced look controls, enabled. And I know all of my OG Wraiths and Pathfinders and everybody like that is going to be freaking out on me because we are not using the 4.3 standard Pro League sensitivity that all those guys like. But I hate to break it to you, but you're probably not a Pro League player, and you probably haven't also been playing since absolutely day one.
He's got a point.
What you need to be going to, though, is the ALC, or advanced look control settings. I'm going to help you dial these in for yourself and to have that absolutely zero recoil that we saw in the beginning of the video. Before we jump into that, we're going to go through these three real quick. The movement dead zone is going to be on small. The inverted look, of course, is going to be off. We're not a Top Gun pilot or anything like that. You do not need inverted look controls. And vibration, please, for the love of everything, turn vibration off. You do not need vibration when you're playing first-person shooters. You don't need haptic feedback or anything like that. All it's doing is messing up your recoil, messing up your aim and everything. Please turn your vibration controls to off. All right, so to start here, you're going to be able to see that my dead zone is currently set to 14. With it being on 14, this is going to be something that's kind of going to be something you're going to have to mess with yourself depending on the amount of stick drift you have on your controller. My controller does have a little bit of stick drift, so if I end up setting it down to like a 6 or 7 like that, you can see that if I go and move my controller and kind of keep messing with it a little bit around every once in a while, I'm going to get this stick drift here where it's just going to move across the screen very slowly by itself. You do not want that to be happening. Right now, I don't even have my hands on my controller, and it is just freely moving around. So I had to turn mine up, and I ended up finding my sweet spot at 14. Like I said, yours can be a little bit different, but if I turn mine up to 14 here, and I go and do this again, and I try and do these small little movements where it was making it move on its own before, that no longer happens. So that is what you want, is for it to not move at all, even if you're making a tiny movement for it. You do not ever want your joystick moving for you. You want to have complete control of it with that dead zone. Next up is going to be our outer threshold. So the outer threshold is basically going to be a dead zone within your dead zone. So it's essentially going to be how far I have to move my joystick for it to go the max distance that it normally would. So if I turn this all the way up, it's going to make it to where I barely have to move my joystick in order for it to say go all the way to the left, all the way to the right, up, down, whichever way I'm trying to move that thing. It is going to react as if it's going all the way before that. So I like to keep mine all the way down, or really I kind of just put it up to 2 right now. It keeps it from going all the way to the edge, but pretty close to it. That way I still feel like I have a lot of control for it. And then we probably have one of, if not the most important setting in the ALC settings, the most important setting to get absolutely no recoil in Apex Legends. And that is going to be your response curve. What your response curve is going to do is the higher I have it set, that means the more I have to move my joystick in order to adjust the aim. On the flip side of that, if I have it lower, that is the less I have to move my joystick in order to adjust the aim. So if my gun is shooting straight up in the air and I'm having to move my stick a whole lot in order to readjust for that, I probably need to turn my response curve down. That way I have to move it less in order to keep that recoil controlled. And so then we have our per optic settings, and I am going to have these on. So the 1 time is going to be at a 1.2. That way it's a little bit faster than my normal sensitivity, because with my 1x, I'm usually going to be up close on front of somebody. 2x and 3x are going to be ones that I use more often, such as a bruiser sight. So 2x is going to be my normal 1.0 sensitivity. 3x I'll use a little bit more at range. Same with the 4x. So those are going to be at that 0.7. And then my 2 sniper scope stocks, my more so long range sights, are going to be the 6x, 8x, and 10x. And since those are going to be more zoomed in, and I'm probably going to be using a sniper or a Kraber or something like that, I want to be able to hit headshots. I don't want to be overshooting my enemy or anything. So I'm going to have these nice and low. That way my adjustments are going to be absolutely precision and be able to be fine-tuned in order to hit those key headshots to change a battle. And then we're going to have our yaw speed and our pitch speed. So our yaw speed is going to be how quickly the view turns left or right. I currently have mine set to 360, as well as the pitch speed to match it. I find it best whenever you have your yaw and your pitch absolutely equal. So these are both going to be set to 360. That way, no matter which way I'm looking, it's going to have that same speed threshold and speed adjustment for me to quickly get used to it and be able to adjust how I need to in fights. The next 4 of these are all going to be extra yaw or ramp up times. And so we don't want any kind of extra ramp up or any kind of delays between our turns or anything like that before it starts boosting our speeds. So these are all going to be turned down to 0. And then we're going to have our ADS yaw speed and pitch speed. And I actually like to have these at 156. So it might seem like they're a little less than half of your normal look around speed, which is fine. Usually when you're going to be ADS and you're not hip fire on this game, you're probably just worried about hitting your shots. That's our key here, is to have no recoil and to hit all of our shots as possible. You're going to have these set to 156. And then of course, those next 4, you don't want any delays or tune-ups or anything. So you want those all turned down to 0. And then of course you want target compensation on, and you want melee target compensation on as well. These are going to influence your look input when aiming at targets. So basically, do you want aim assist on or off? You of course want it on when you're on controller. Don't forget, I'll be giving out 1,000 Apex coins to a random subscriber that likes and comments. Channel members will get anywhere from 2x to 25x additional entries pending the tier they're in, as well as tons of other awesome perks. Hit that join button on my channel page to see more details about them. Until next time, legends, peace.